If you're here for an overly in-depth video essay, you're in the wrong place. I'm here to throw out a couple of bars that you don't need to expand on because they are universal truths. As you know, my opinions should be taken as the word of the Lord. I'll start off by saying this: most villains in most animated movies have urges and desires, and they have their motives for doing their evil doings. What I find to be the most terrifying and the most effective villains are when they don't.
Well, if it isn't Puss in Boots himself.
Now, don't get me wrong, there can be extremely well-written villains, a few examples on the screen here, but in my mind, the best villain in all animated movies is one whose heart has been consumed with malice, a curse, in a deep down, true evil.
Fear. I do love the smell of fear. It's intoxicating.
It is?
Now, it's extremely hard, and there's very sparse examples of characters that actually do this well. Because, I mean, let's keep it a buck here. These are usually very easy for them to fall into the, trap of being like, oh, this person's just pure evil. So if they aren't written well and overused, then they could turn out like this.
Oh, Anna. If only there was someone out there who loved you.
Now wait up, don't worry, this is not another video that's gonna be like, oh, Puss in Boots Last Wish villain's the best villain ever. I don't think that's true. I think the unexpectedly well done fear that this wolf death, I guess they call him, invokes is awesome. I think he's a great villain, but in the end he's kind of unexplored. He just is kind of underdeveloped in my opinion, and again I do acknowledge that somewhat of the lack of knowledge about him is what brings some of the intimidation, but don't comment that I think scary equals good, because I don't. I do like how they leave him open-ended as he walks into the flames, but anyways, we are two and a half minutes almost into the video, and I haven't said who the best villain is. So from all the animated movies I've seen so far, the other mother from Coraline, the beldam, is hands down the best villain. Oh, my bad. You would like me to explain why? Okay. For sure. All right. I got it. I could do that. I would ask you to strictly pay attention to just the movement of the camera in this scene.
Hey, you! Where's the other mother? I want to go home.
All will be swell soon as Mother's refreshed. Her strength is our strength. Mustn't talk when Mother's not here.
So this happens a lot throughout the house, but Coraline brings a lot of motion to the house that they're in. Yet the stillness of what just is being shot here with the father lets you know that the mother's present is here. The simple taps on the piano. Everything is very calculated, conducted, and calm. Because if you do something, motion is brought into the picture. You see as the gloves swing out and twist his head around. So when something happens like this,
Long face. And Mother didn't like it.
you start to associate motion, just franticness, with the not only a feeling of franticness in your own self, but also with the mother. There's only two shots, this from Caroline's perspective and then one that has both the father and her in it. Distortion, silence, and washed down dull colors are three things that are present throughout the entire film that represent the mother's presence. That is the other mother's all-knowing presence. It's very different when eventually the mother comes onto the screen, because then the colors become polarizing. There is no more ambient silence, and the distortion is sharp and palpable now. A sign of an excellent antagonist, or any character for that matter, is the setting and the world building is entirely built around the character. World building can be extremely effective and feel very alive when it is done this way. Her first impression with her fractured face as she grows with her hunch and button eyes, these help the horror that she brings, and it's truly this with combination of her character design that makes her special. Her existence is a mirage, a curse, or a manifestation of Coraline's own wants. We don't know while watching what corrupt demon is trying to tear out beloved Coraline's eyes, but what we do know is the figure is of metal and bone. Its blades, cold to the touch, are built from saturated monochrome. This entity slowly turns from a place of wonder and warmth to the impossible desire it represents: happiness. Smile with guilt, Coraline, as this is your own self. The beldam is not a voice of Satan, but instead of reason, Coraline's own logic and vices. Coraline grows more and more enough to get away during the first climax, but like any great villain, there are strings attached, a compromise for life. Celebrate with your white balloon, Coraline. There's a reason this entire story, the camera work consistently goes back to her POV. Dullness remains in the final outro, only to have signs of color to focus on. This story is no dream nor imagined. This is reality with real material. As the concrete concept of companionship phases into the air, the perception of this barrier between consciousness and nothing is torn down. We are left with the unsettling, lingering image of a lovely mother. Do we classify the beldam as Coraline, or does it matter? What do? We call it universe. There are no bounds within, no fantasy, no matter, just a lovely tale of a little universe. And people wonder why kids are afraid of the dark.